When we left off, we were busy working on some fun projects that would give Makara a big facelift, like new cupboard doors and fresh paint.
Well, we're finally getting around to finishing up, kind of, a few of the projects. Ty's just putting back on our cupboard doors that we installed the new aluminum inserts in, replacing the old rattan. I'm about to pull all the tape down because our painting is done. We do have the ceiling pulled back apart now. We're trying to trace a few leaks. We've had a lot of rain the past week, and we know there's 2 leaks that we definitely know of, and we're trying to identify if there's any more or if it's just the 2 that we know of. Because we had a lot of water coming in on the floor, which is not good.
Oh, you see stuff in there. The good thing with the headliner we're putting in here is you can take it down, although it's a lot of work and so on. It can be taken down. The old stuff that was in here, like the foam stuff, is very difficult to take down without destroying it. And on Varuna, that was probably our biggest pet peeve on the Pearsons of that era. It looked beautiful because it was a completely encapsulated fiberglass plastic type liner. The problem with that was there was no way to trace a leak or get to a leak, or wiring or anything for that matter.
Luckily we didn't have any leaks.
We didn't have any on Varuna, so that was really good. But if you wanted to get behind it, you can't without really destroying it. And when you have a leak, for example in here, any headliner, like with water, right, it'll find the path of least resistance, I guess. So the leak could be right here, but it will run all the way over here. So you really kind of need to be able to get to the entire area to search for that stuff, and that's what's helpful about being able to take it down. But we do need to be able to solve the problem of stopping it.
The 2 main leaks that we know about here in Makara, number 1 is around the mast, where the mast boot, where it comes through the deck. It's a keel step mast, which means it comes through the deck and it sits down on the keel. We know the mast boot is very old and cracked up and leaks a lot. I just taped a bag around there so we can eliminate that leak, hopefully. The other leak we know about is through where our big, nice hardtop Dodger attaches to the deck. It has like a long threaded bolt that goes all the way through it, and it leaks through there. So we don't quite know how to solve that. The only solution we really know 100% that would work would be cutting the whole hardtop Dodger off and rebedding it or replacing it, doing something so that the water doesn't leak down that bolt. I have a few other ideas we might try if we can get it dried out for a period of time, trying to seal all the wood around the base. We don't know if that would necessarily solve the problem. The only surefire way to do that is to remove the whole thing, so we'll have to decide what to do there.
Trying to move the batteries to a proper spot. They were very high, and we're trying to move them back to a lower spot, probably what was originally the battery, designed to be the battery compartment, under these stairs here. And we can fit 6 of these golf cart batteries, which are like GC2s, in here, and we're just trying to figure out which way they go best so we can wire them in and still hopefully get access to them to maybe water them. We'll see. I don't think it's going to work with this. I still won't be out. Oh, maybe we thought it'd be in the...
Yeah, under the flap.
It'll be under the flap.
With 6 6-volt golf cart batteries, this would give us a total of 630 amps in our house bank.
What's you doing up there? Nap time?
Nap time. We're going to try and run our wiring here for the windlass and see, so we've only got one here, see if we can run the wiring all the way back to the battery bank, which will be around about a 50 or 60 foot run round trip. So I'm hoping the one AWG will do it. As far as I can find out from this old windlass motor, if it's the one I think it is, that should suffice. It seems a lot smaller than I think it should be, but we'll see.
Running wiring is always a challenging project on a boat. But luckily, with a bit of poking around, we were able to find a few places to pull this very thick, stiff wire through all the way from the bow back to the battery bank amidships.
Doing there?
Getting lightheaded. Finishing up some of our plumbing. The forward head here was never plumbed. Well, it was originally, but not since we had it. It was not plumbed with water, I guess you'd say. What, fresh water? Fresh water. But the pipes kind of sort of run up there, although some of them are cut off, and so when you plug them in, water floods the boat. But we think we located it and have it spliced to where we can run fresh water and probably hot water up there. That way we have a usable shower if we want it. We have one in the back cabin as well, and a usable sink. So I think it's almost ready to test. I've got to cut one more piece of pipe here for our sink tap, and then today we're going to try and put down the laminate as well and be mostly done with this area. I think probably... probably good enough.
Right there, that is our new freshwater tap for our new double sink that we installed. We got rid of the single sink. And then these two holes here, that will be a foot pump, fresh and salt water. Find a leak.
Yeah. Decent sized leak. I don't know if you call that a leak. I think that's more than a leak. That's something is seriously wrong here. So that's the one, the new fitting I put on there that didn't have the collar. Some of the fittings we had to locate that were originally on here, and we've been having problems with these grey ones here. So if you don't know what they are, well, we didn't either. But apparently these are called Quest. And I think it was probably some sort of a proprietary thing, I think, that was built, or that were made back in the day. Anyway, I think these have been around for, I want to say in the 70s they might have started using these. And they were supposed to be the, you know, plumbing of the future or whatever. It was kind of like a quick connect thing that you have these days, but these ones didn't work. One of the things that happened is they broke a lot, and you can see here where the stress point on these joints just shear right off. But the other big problem was, I believe, they installed these in something like 6 million plus homes, a lot of them down in like Florida area, all over the country. And I think they ended up finding out that they leach, what is it they leach? Something.
Well, if there was any chlorine in the water, it broke them down.
Yeah, it broke it down. So if there was chlorine in the water, so for city water systems and so on where there's chlorinated water, it would end up degrading the liner of this type of pipe and stuff, and it would leach into your drinking water. So that wasn't good. I think it might still be used a little bit in marine, which obviously it was installed on this boat. But they still kept doing this all the way through, I think, the mid-90s, and there was some big lawsuits over it. But if you're buying a house in Florida, I hear you want to watch for not getting a house with this, because there's a lot of it out there and it's expensive apparently to replace. Alright, so no leak right now. So these pipes have this like little collar, you can see this, and this collar goes around the tube, and then there's like a compression nut, I guess, on the other side, which kind of pulls that into the pipe. And you're not supposed to need to use any thread, like any pipe thread or anything like that. But I used pipe thread this time. Anyway, I took it off. This collar was kind of askew. I think that was the problem. I don't think it was actually over the hose. So now it looks good, but my taps are back to front, so I've got to fix those. These are both in the off position right now, but they're
different ways.
Different. Just redo this? I don't know.
With our plumbing mostly sorted out and new hatches and cupboards in place in the galley, it was finally time to put down our new laminate countertop. We prepped it by puttying any gaps and then sanding lightly.
Good?
Yeah.
Installing Formica in a very tight, awkward space takes a lot of planning and preparation. As we found out the hard way in our first fitting, Formica is very fragile, and you need to have everything perfectly lined up before applying the contact cement. Once the laminate sheet was in place, we used a roller to roll out any air bubbles and make sure it was fully adhered. The next day, Ty trimmed it down to fit perfectly to size. Using a router with a flush cut bit, we could trim right along the edges. To cut out the sink and hatch holes, we used a drill bit to make a pilot hole, and then used the same router bit along the edges. Finally, we used a file to smooth everything out. With the projects we needed power tools and dock power for wrapping up, we were looking forward to getting back out on anchor and had a very special delivery arrive that we couldn't wait to get on the boat. But that's our next adventure. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, we'd love it if you gave us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time.
What are we doing?
I don't know. What are we doing?
Are we doing nothing?
We're trying to figure out what we're doing.
I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm getting close. I'll be on the boat. Right here. I'm in the bathroom. Can I have some privacy?